Well, hey there, how you doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I've recently started a group on Zoom for Bigfoot cryptid witnesses and experiencers, and we've had some very interesting presentations. This is an excerpt from Max, who gave us a presentation not too long ago. And this is a part where he tells us of a very interesting experience of feeling a low frequency penetrating vibration in the space around him, and he felt like something was about to happen, and then a huge orb, as he describes to us, comes out of the sky, forms eventually a triangular craft. I think you're going to enjoy this testimony. The very interesting thing about it is that he says that he completely forgot about this event until contacting Terry Lovelace, or reading Terry Lovelace's book, Incident at Devil's Den. We've had Terry on the channel before, and Terry told us about an experience. You can read about it in his book. It's fascinating, about being taken on a triangular craft while camping, taking a break from the Air Force with a medic buddy of his back in the 70s. And then they are taken aboard a triangular craft. And this, reading the book, says Max tells us it brought memories back to him. Very interesting. So take a listen here if you're interested in finding out more about our Bigfoot Zoom group, which still has some space for new members. You can check out the link below. Okay, we'll enjoy the testimony, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care for now, and bye.
This is the story that really still haunts me. And to your point again, speaking to the group about why do we seem to get foggy on our memories about things, I've thought about that part of this so many times, and hearing Terry's book brought back memories that I had forgotten. I think that my mind had tried to forget. I think that's what happens to a lot of us, is that we see things that we're ill-equipped to handle because we don't have a foundational understanding of what we're seeing. So, the mind does what it does best, and it either creates or fills in a gap or gets rid of something. We have that elasticity in our brains. But this story happens when I'm about 15 years old. It was the year before I started driving, so more high strange is kind of right in that same area, in that same time frame in my life. My friend Mac, and I, we're friends since the second grade, best friends, still are. We're 43 this year. He and I were wanting to get away and hang out, and we drove from his grandmother's house down to his mother's house, on one of these roads kind of near the nuclear silo site kind of area. It's called Soda Valley. We drove to the home, and we were playing football in the front yard, just throwing the ball back and forth, being kids, having a good time. I remember it was fall because football was starting, so we were excited about it, and we wanted to get a jump on all the games and just go play in the front yard. We had an ATV that we had ridden here. As we're playing football in the front yard, back and forth, the sun setting, the sky is 85-90% clear. I mean, it's just a beautiful evening, and there's just one kind of lonely cloud in the sky over the neighbor's house. This is out in the middle of nowhere. One neighbor. As we're throwing the ball back and forth, I have what I can only describe as a full body sensation of an ultra low frequency, maybe a hum that you could feel but not hear. It's not a hearing thing. It's something that you feel in your body. And I felt this vibration of energy and this hum inside of my body. And I turned 90 degrees to the right. I don't know why, but my body turned 90 degrees to the right. I fell to my knees and I looked up at the sky, and I just sat there looking at the sky, not knowing why I'm doing any of this. This is unprompted. I have no idea what is happening. I can hear my friend, but I can't turn to look at him. and he is yelling at me and he's saying, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's cussing. I mean, he's like, what the f- are you doing? I can hear him. And I remember I just pointed up at the sky and I said, watch, watch. And he said, he got behind me and I could feel him behind me. He said, watch, what am I watching? What am I watching? And I start hearing this voice from somewhere in my brain that starts saying a mantra of sound over and over. It says, we are, you are, 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 over and over and over in my head. Just these words over and over. You are, we are, you are, we are, you. And out of the sky, out of this lone cloud, comes this gigantic ball of orange light, like a plasma, that is so massive that it strikes instant fear into my friend's heart. I cannot move. I cannot speak. I can't do anything other than point, and my mouth is wide open. And my friend, I hear him start to scream, and Zach is screaming, and he's going, "What the fuck is this? What is this? What is this?" And he is terrified. He's horrified, and I can hear him screaming. And I I hear him run over to the four wheeler, the ATV that he had. This thing clicks off every time we've ever tried to start it. It's dead in the water. It will not respond to anything. Nothing will happen. The whole time my body is vibrating and I'm hearing these voices in my head. Zach finally, I remember this is the last thing I remember, and this is where it gets foggy for me. And he and we've both had discussions about how and why we forgot some of these things, and why it got foggy, and we don't understand this, but this is a fact that it does happen. But the last thing that I can remember is that one ball of light turned into two more giant orbs of orange light, and there was a perfect triangle hovering. I mean, I could throw a rock and hit it. It was hovering over us, and it when he saw that, I thought he was gonna die. I heard him scream. I heard him scream. And he grabbed me by I remember feeling him grab the back of my shirt and grab me under my arm. And he just started dragging me into the home, like dragging me toward the house. And from there, the next thing that I remember is that we were hiding behind a chair with a with a corded phone, because this was back when phones were still connected to the wall. We dragged a corded phone over behind the chair with us, and because we were hunters, we were young guys, but we had access to weapons. He went and got a 12 gauge shotgun and loaded it, and we huddled behind the chair, shivering and crying, and we didn't even know who to call. We couldn't even think clearly enough to know who to call for help. I remember us sitting there fumbling about, who do we call for help? Who do we call? We can't. I remember we thought about calling 911, but we were so afraid that no one would believe us that we just couldn't bring ourselves to do it. We were terrified that we were going to get in trouble, because that was a big thing. Like you don't prank and you don't do those things. We were in a strict homes, but that was the close encounter that I had with these things. That's not when that started. The first time I saw those things was not too long after the black dog. My mother, my sister, and myself were together the first time I saw these orange orbs of plasma that come down out of the sky and break apart into multiples and do all of these unbelievable things in the sky. We were all together when we first saw them. I've never been alone when I've seen them. I've never just seen them by myself. Someone's always been with me, which is an. It's like, how
That's very
often does that
interesting.
happen? Um, But that's kind of the foundation of my interest in these things, is because I've spent an entire lifetime. I have two sons. I have one that's 19 and I have one that's 3. And Terry's story made it very real to me that the possibility exists that not only me, not only you, not only my sons, but anyone at any time could, you know, there are things that we may not remember, and there is a high potential that we could all be experiencing things that we don't remember. And there may be an important function for us not remembering.